each community will have to decide how open they are to hosting events from other that involve other people who are not in the community. And it could be a source of income. There are a lot of communities that's how they make their money. And we could host yoga workshops. We could host things to learn about permaculture, plant reproduction, natural building, all kinds of stuff. And I would probably want to put that on the side of a community. In fact, in my own forest, I have decided which part would be more open to people hosting people from the outside. So we could be offering almost all the year. You know, we might want to take a month off or something, or some things might run all year. I don't know. Depends on the thing and whether it's weather dependent or not. It does get chilly at night here, but you know, you would then build buildings and infrastructure that allows people to host workshops really well. And some of those could be cheaper, and we might even use it to promote our values, like permaculture stuff. Others would be really popular. I suppose there could even be spiritual ones, but I have had spiritual workshops here before, and I'm just not a big fan. You know, there's like some astrology ones, and they're just based on lies, and so I'm very cautious with that. We could hold philosophy workshops. I mean, I've taken a lot of philosophy classes in university, and I think philosophy is something everybody should get trained in, including kids. I mean, we all wonder, what is true? How do we know what's true? What is a good way to be or not? And so we could present different philosophical systems that have existed historically. We could critique them. We could, you know, have people share what philosophies they live by, what ethics they live by, and what ethics they would like to live by. You know, their thoughts on how society should even function, which is a bit bigger, you know. I'm more interested in interpersonal stuff, but I also have political thoughts, primarily focused on more freedom and less government. Government will always be corrupt. It's an extremely dangerous entity. It promotes violence, either subtly or directly. It controls shit that it was never designed to control, and often the people don't actually control their own government. That's a terrible thing. In fact, I think all around the world, there's very few places where people actually control their own government. And I have sometimes said, your politicians should be close enough to hit with a rock. I like that little thing I say, because it's true. If you're going to give someone a monopoly on violence, and you're going to allow this agency to arbitrate, you know, conflicts and to punish people or banish them, then you have to think really hardcore about that. And I think in a community you can actually, since you're having people voluntarily agree to a set of laws, you can have a lot more specific laws that are not really invasive. They really are agreements that the people there want. And we can free ourselves from the kind of governments that go around the world killing people, that spy on us, that promote unhealthy living because they're paid off by some industry to do so, you know, with lobbyists and people doing backdoor deals and payoffs and things. So that's a big danger. There was a long time ago in the USA, there was the ABSCAM scandal, ABSCAM, maybe ABSCAM. And what happened was, I think some agency of the government specifically went to politicians and tried to bribe them. And a huge number of politicians took bribes. They sold the power of the people that they were entrusted with to the highest bidder. And it's interesting that they made ABSCAM type sting operations illegal. They made it illegal to see if public servants were corruptible. I think that might be useful to try from private people like investigative journalists, which, I mean, you'd have to be very careful doing that, but it would definitely put you at risk, because if you expose the crimes of the state, they really don't like that shit. They will really hurt you bad. Like, you look at guys like Edward Snowden, the guy who changed his name and became a woman, I forgot his name, Chelsea Manning, thank you. Very helpful camera. And then people like Julian Assange, whose crime is exposing the crimes of the state. And that's like one of the worst crimes you can do, because they're the most organized crime that there is, and they want to oppress you. That is their goal. That's how they profit. And so you have to keep your authority structures under control. But within a community setting, you also have to do that. And I think we can just do better at designing it in a way that does not allow for that, and has very serious repercussions for corruption. And of course your power structure is much closer to you, so you have more ability to observe it. You could have transparency be very required for most systems. Obviously there's some things that need to be kept more secret, like security systems, because exposing where your security is makes it more ineffective. If people who wish to invade your community or something want to oppress you, you don't want to necessarily say what your security systems are, or if people want to be thieves or something. Yeah. Well, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on that, of course. Intelligent thoughts, please. Kindly.